One is that clearly the traditional signature-based analysis isn't working too well. That if you have to know about every piece of malware, it's a problem. And so if you look at some of the alternatives that are coming onto market, they're really looking at it in the inverted approach. That is, application whitelisting is sort of a way to look at it.
That's right.
So that when you see an application that you don't know about, you just kind of raise that as a flag, or at least suspicious, and then you can kind of focus on what it's doing as a potential threat.
That's a good idea.
And so I think in the mobile space, because the application markets are so much better controlled, that is a much better opportunity. That is, you're looking for the unusual anomaly as opposed to the onslaught of so many different new versions of malware that are coming on. So I think that's one aspect of this. Another piece that I kind of, and again, I think this kind of points a little bit to the mobile space, is that the security controls in the Windows environment grew out of basically, I think, bailing wire and Band-Aids in a sense. Whereas the notion of, and if you look at like the Linux environment or the Unix type environments, there was more of a security notion from the very roots. And if we look at Windows way back, it was a DOS operating system. It was intended for a single user, isolated from the network, except for maybe a modem dial-up. And so it didn't have the same kinds of threats. And then threats started to emerge, through floppy disks and things like that. And as time progressed, we started to have to build in, protections. And NT was like the big, trusted core kind of protection thing. And then multimedia kind of eroded that, I think, a little bit as well. So I think part of it has been finding that balance between security and not. Whereas with the mobile devices, they got to kind of start from a clean slate and say, let's build in some protections. The big piece being, if you get a clean app on there, it's not as big of a threat. You don't have disk drives connecting to them so often. So you have, I think, some better protections around a mobile device. That
I totally agree. I mean, I think, so once again, Damballa, we have a lot of network visibility. We see about 50% of North American mobile data traffic. And 99.9% of the malware we see on mobile data traffic is PCs tethered to a mobile device, you might imagine. And we see a little bit of Android malware, and we see almost no iOS malware based on our visibility. However, if you go to Eastern Europe, or if you go to Asia specifically, where these walled gardens, these app stores aren't enforced and prevalent, you see mobile malware growing like gangbusters, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so certainly the approach that with the app stores for the mobile has helped prevent bad apps from distributing, and distribution is a key part of a threat actor's economic business model for making money off malware. Is they got to get it out there. And if you can't get it out there on enough mobile devices, you can't make money off. Well, in Asia you can, parts of Europe you can, because of the lack of the app stores, if you will. And I think that's definitely solving it. And I think, and I do think what's going to happen is, I mean, McAfee has a whitelisting solution, for example. I know because I acquired it when I was at McAfee. So I think that those things are happening, and I think that, so endpoint security is not going to go away.